What's going on, y'all? It's Q with the Buttadawgz, Dogs with Butta. Today we're in Sacramento, California, and we're here with the one and only
P.K Nagasaki, back at it with another one.
PK. We super appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today, bruh. Hell yeah. And to start, I wanted to give you the opportunity to introduce where you're from and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Oh yeah. If you don't know, I go by P.K Nagasaki. I'm from Sacramento, California. I have a deep background in the South, more so like the country. Most of my family is from the country. Mom and her brothers and stuff are from the Bay Area. First generation, born in Sacramento, out of my family. So yeah, I make esoteric, or what you would call like spiritual alternative music. More so like a blend of like different things, but just more like uplifting stuff, you know? I've always been into, movies, art, always had an eye for it. Was originally playing sports and stuff, and then eventually had an interest in music once I had to leave sports behind, and, after that, everything just took a huge spin for me, a whole evolution, a whole different, change, meeting the right people, even coming across the wrong ones, but just being persistent.
For sure. I personally, me and you have had this conversation. I've described your music as crackhead music, just because, I've seen you at the California State Fair. I saw you running around, bouncing, doing your thing. You just opened up for O3 Greedo at the Rink Studios, running around, bouncing, doing your thing. You said esoteric. What is that? Because I've never heard of that before.
Esoteric is another word for like spiritual, and so certain words and stuff like I use in my songs like Sigil 7 or Blue Kachina. That's an indigenous story based on the blue sun, which brings change. Another reason why the days are speeding up. It's a lot of the truth is coming out. So a lot of things that are talked about a lot, and they call it mythology and stuff, but there's always some type of truth to it. Even growing up with the stuff that I had watched, I paid attention to like the subliminal messages behind certain things, and so it's like the stuff that's brought up in these movies and shows. It has to be some type of truth to it if a lot of people are saying the same thing. It's just, you just have to be careful who's telling you what's the truth and what's a lie. So it's all in front of you, but it's just more so about awareness. So it's more so, like even if you don't want to listen to a message or something, you could just casually bump it because of the beats or like the 808s and everything to it too. So it's a variety of things that I add to my music. It's not like to bash like people who make political music, but it's like some shit that you could really vibe out to. It's not like,
It's not
this and that.
heavy thought type shit.
Yeah,
It's more
like
of a vibe.
yeah.
I get what you mean. Because, even No Name, the rapper.
I heard it. Yeah.
She makes like hype, like super hyper conscious. Like she's even called out like Kendrick for not being like conscious enough. But she even recently came out and she was like, like sometimes I just want to vibe though. Like she even as somebody who what you're talking about, like political rap, like
Yeah.
as somebody who like makes that and specializes it, because she makes you think some shit. Like she called Lauryn Hill out for being like FBI type shit. You know what I mean? Like some crazy shit.
Yeah.
But like some people just want to vibe, and like the bounce music you make and kind of just like the like chill shit that you make. You know what I'm saying? And also, how did you get to that sound? Because it's not like you're on like your like Kirk Franklin gospel vibe. You know what I mean? It's not like you're on your like reggae vibe. Like, what led you to esotericism, being esoteric music?
Well, growing up, I was always into history, and so I grew up with a lot of older people. So I'm the oldest sibling, but growing up, I was like one of the youngest people, out of everyone that I was around. So it was more so just, maturing, and then I was my great grandpa Roscoe. He was he is a huge influence in my life, but certain things that he would say, especially with like my background. A lot of us who identify as African American are actually indigenous to the land. So I had looked into that and looked into the history behind that and the certain things that we did. And so that's history was more so something that helped me like understand more about my culture and that we're actually cherished instead of reflecting on trauma and the bullshit that we see today. It was something that built like a spiritual foundation within myself. So because tradition and everything is important, so if your history and everything is changed, then you lose that. And so it's just had to look at the bigger picture of things. And so connected that with history, paying attention to other people's beliefs and everything. Because it's like I'm just open minded. I'm not necessarily religious, but if something resonates with me, it resonates with me. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's just, but I don't necessarily, I'm not against religious people because there's certain things that I agree in different religions that, that I'm not fully submerged into or it's just like with life. You take what resonates with you and then you just spit out what doesn't work for you. So yeah. But that and then music's always been an interest of mine. I listened to a lot of people before they blew up, like Playboy Cardi. A lot of people don't know about the group that he was in before he went viral with Uzi, like Awful Records. That's the same group with I Love McConan. Listen to Rodway before he blew up. A lot of, honestly, it was like if you were around in like the what was it, honestly from the early 2000s to like 2018, 19, but specifically in like my teen years from, I would say 2012, around the time like TDE and everything came back when I was going to like Natomas Middle at the time. And so my boy Darius, he put me on to hella different artists that were coming out. And so we went more towards like at the time, a lot of music was alternative at the time. Even with Chief Keef, even though like the whole drill music scene, he had a lot of alternative beats and everything. But it's honestly a continuation of house music. So that's one of the things that I had listened to or always paid attention to with like the shows I would watch. It would always be some type of house music or some type of acoustic or whatever. Like one example, like you ever watch Gargoyles?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know how like with the soundtracks and stuff they would have, it would always like catch my ears.
Yeah.
So it was that.
Did they also have like, was it house type or was it like repetitive? Because like, did you watch Digimon too?
Yeah.
Bro, you remember their soundtrack? Hardest fucking theme song ever, bro. If you do not know the Digimon theme song, bro, you better fucking learn today, bro. That shit was hard.
Even the commercials were entertaining back then.
Right.
So it's like if you know, but it's like you have to have that ear to really remember or it'll like fly past your head,
Type shit.
So it's always been around. So like I've always had a diverse background, grew up with hella different people from, even out the country, people from other states, having family from. So I always had like an open eye and an open ear. So it just reflected through my art and my music, especially with like Ye, Travis Scott, the greats like Michael Jackson. Like I can't even really, like if I made a list, it was like it's people you can't leave out, especially if you listen to music.
Real.
So just always having that ear is what put me in that category, but I didn't really make music until way later. Like I was playing track and basketball. And so when I went to City, and plus with basketball, with hoop, that was honestly something that I had a passion for, but I just wasn't, I don't know, I guess I would say I wasn't used to playing like organized basketball or like
playing like street ball, playing with the family.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, I would, me and my friends would spend hours hooping outside, but it was like when it came to like games or like doing drills with certain people, it was like stage fright kind of. I wasn't used to it.
It's different.
Yeah, so that was something that helped that, because if I didn't have that, bro, I would have been way better. But it was just my my self-esteem and everything. It didn't match up. So it was a lot that I was putting in, but then when it came time to do it, it was like either it didn't count or it wasn't in the game. You get what I'm
Which is
saying?
hella
So
interesting because now you're a music artist. So
yeah,
you're talking about you had stage fright in sports. How were
yeah,
you able to transition away from that
right.
in your artistry?
Um, Honestly, music is something that saved me. Like it made me realize, you know, how smart I was with the ear I had for music, like from, breaking down music, the layers of music and everything and stuff. But it was like honestly seeing my dedication to it and proving people wrong while I'm like in my process. Like, I don't know, because like when you're a musician, it's all eyes on you. You get what I'm saying? You control everything. So, versus you being on a team, you have to worry about other people. You
And
have to
not
make
letting
sure
the
they're on.
team down and
Right.
oh,
So it was, I don't know, it's different types of pressure. But before sports, I was always into music. My mom said I was always rapping and stuff as a kid, even when I didn't know how to speak. I was always singing, but it was just other stuff other interests that I had. And so normally they say with children, the first things that they do, like that they're interested in, that's normally something that they should stick with. So everything really went full circle, but it's like you're in charge. And so if you're confident, even if you're saying a whole bunch of bullshit, if you're confident with a lot of, you're either gonna get a lot of people's respect or they're just gonna gravitate towards you because you're honest or you said it with confidence.
okay.
You know,
And you mentioned your family a couple times. Like you mentioned kind of like your position in your family, like amongst your siblings, and like how your mom was able to tell you like your hyper fixation on music from like a really young age. How would you attribute your family dynamic to the individual that you are today and the musician that you've become? You know what
mm,
I mean?
yeah. Um, Family is always. I'm a oriented person, so that's why I'm very considerate of people. You know, especially like if you're from like the country, Southern hospitality and stuff like that. So just I don't. It's hmm. I don't know. It's like we've always had each other. So like even with my cousins and stuff that I grew up with, I see them as more like my siblings because we actually like lived with each other. We actually went through all these different things. We grew up seeing a lot of things that no other generation will be able to see. Like we're literally in between our parents and the newer generation. So it's like we're seeing a lot of things that we didn't really agree with, or we seen how the past generations had to live, and then it's like now it's kind of like we're seeing how everything is now, but
And we're also, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We're the prototype for like a lot of what's going on in the world. Like, I don't know, other generations had to like raise families and like, live life like forever, but like this new wave of technology that we're experiencing is like the first in human history, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like everything has been super different compared to like what our parents were used to.
yeah.
And then in that, you were also talking about like how you've been surrounded by so many different cultures and so many different people. Is that where P.K Nagasaki comes from? What? Because it sounds like Asian heritage in a way. Where does your artist name come from?
Okay, well, it was originally a pyramid kid. So growing up, I looked into like Egyptology, um, and different things like that. And so my uncle was more so into um, the Hebrew Israelite customs and traditions and stuff. And so, we would just do hella research, and me and my uncle were just alike. So I call him like me from the future. Um, but yeah, he called me Pyramid Kid, and so I used to sweep at his barber shop. And so I would always like read books and we would always talk and just build off of each other. And so as I got older, like I don't really want to be called a kid, so I use PK. And so Nagasaki is it does have an impact on the Asian culture, but when you break up the word, Naga means dragon, and then dragons of Kai. So Nagas, dragons of Ki, Kai, dragons of Earth, like the protectors of Earth. So when you hear about the Mayan culture and stuff, that's the origin of where it all started. So like when you hear about the Kukulkan, um, all these different things, like even like the were jaguar, like they talk about werewolves and stuff, but in the Mayan tradition, they also talk about people turning into the jaguar. Like if you play Tekken, the dudes
That's
with
what
the
I was finna say, bro. Oh my
yeah,
god, niggas don't know about Tekken though, bro. I was gonna say, like, I got that nigga on Tekken that's half jaguar, half dude.
yeah,
Oh.
that the eagle, the falcon. It's like, and this is the thing, like when you break down it goes so deep, but it has you looking somewhere else when a lot of it has been here the whole time.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's deep, but it's like the truth's coming out every day. It's like there's really no need to really hold back anything that you think of, whether you think it's true or not, because most likely it's a chance you're not the only one that thought about that shit or connected the dots.
Yeah, type shit, bro. That's
Yeah,
crazy. Especially, that's like history I don't even know. Like, I feel like a lot of people, that's like the shit you weren't taught in school. Like, they taught you all the surface level shit, but like, I feel like what you said earlier, the fables and the stories, because it's like, who's to say it's not true? You know what I
right.
mean? Who's to say it's a make believe story? But like, that's the shit that really interests a lot of people. That like, you have to go and research on your own, which you did, which I
Yeah,
hella respect, bro.
yeah.
And kind of just speaking on like history in general, but also your personal history throughout your artistry, like from beginning and end of the journey. Where has your artistry taken you? Because I know specifically, I have two in mind of where I met you was at the California State Fair most recently. Could you tell me a little bit about that experience and kind of how you ended up at the California State Fair?
Really just honestly betting on yourself. Like even if it doesn't work in your favor, the fact that you still pulled through, because it's only one outcome if you try, but if you don't, you get what I'm saying, you'll never know. And the human brain will also loves to reflect on what could have happened. So um, like around the time, well, honestly, throughout my whole career is more so like, yeah, bet on yourself, bro, because it's just trust your gut, like, because I was like, if I didn't trust it, a lot of stuff wouldn't have happened. And one valuable lesson that I learned, um, is that even when it comes to delays or procrastination or relationships not working with, people that you come across, a lot of times that's a form of protection. Because, like, you don't know these people, you don't really know who these people are. You don't know what they were saying behind closed doors. So you weren't there, but there were other things in your life that you had to focus on that made you shy away from these people. And next thing you know, you're doing your own thing. You know, especially with like the whole industry and stuff, collapsing. I'm glad I was around these people, and then I had to focus on other things in life. Cause who knows what I would have been involved with. You know what I'm saying? I was working with YSL and everything during the pandemic. So, the pandemic slowed a lot of things down for people. So that was a huge advantage for me, but I trusted my gut. It's more so like, with this journey, it's for me, but it's like if you want to look into my journey, it's to give other people hope, you know, because I would have never thought, you know what I'm saying? I was a person that grew up counted out, a lot of people a lot of people didn't see things the way how I did, or it was just some things I didn't understand from other people. Like it was my own process. We all have our own process. And so when it was my turn, it was like, wow, like everything that everybody said about me was literally to hold me down, and I meant to have stuff that's way better than the stuff that they have now. And I did all this like independent, but it was like I had to see what it was like first before the right people came around, so when I do have my foundation, I'll know what to do and not fuck it up. Because that's another thing that I was saying about the blocks and things in your life. Sometimes sometimes the stuff that you want, like, yeah, it can be yours, but at the time there are times where you have to go through certain things. So it's not as costly when you get it. You get what I'm saying? Because you could have a whole bunch of power or whatever, but if you don't have the right mindset, then uh, then it could be more detrimental. Like it costs you your life or even your career, something that you can't bounce back from. It could involve way more harm than good. You know,
Trials and tribulations type shit.
yeah,
Like, there's a reason you're going through what you're going through for like future purposes. You might
right,
not know in that moment, but like as life grows and as you build up to something, you're gonna understand what that is as it unfolds. Because you'll be in scenarios that you're like, this feels familiar to where this got fucked up, or
yeah,
this happened and I fucked up, or this
yeah,
happened and it was unsafe. Let me not fucking do that shit again.
right,
To where as if you just get projected to the top, you don't know what to do in those situations, and you're really just free falling type
yeah,
shit.
yeah. And it's like with you have to be willing to go through like the ups and downs, like the humility side, like even in life in general. So when things don't work out or things might not be in your favor, you don't necessarily like quit, or you don't really let it bother you as much. You know, stuff happens, but a lot of stuff that we trip about, it's like, bro, you ain't gonna die, or it's not as much of a big deal as you think it is. Um, but it's like once you go through that phase of realizing that it's balanced, like there's gonna be times where things might not work in your favor, or it might be small, you know, small bumps in the road or whatever. Like once you're prepared to go through those things, it's not as difficult. You know, there are hard times and things that you go through, but if you keep an open mind, you know, that's the only way that you persevere. It's an experience. It's not a perfection. It's just you being you. It's not someone else's expectations. You're you. It could only be one type of you. So yeah, just trust your own process. Everything happens for a reason. It's a lot going on. Like, and talented people like us actually go through the most and are actually empathetic because we're able to share, or we have like the courage to actually share our interests in what we like. So it's like you might as well just be you in this whole process. You know, that's really what it just taught me. And so I was able to be patient and just manifest. And so now I'm around the people that I always wanted to work with, people that I thought I would never work with. You know, a lot of people don't know about me being around Thug and Gunna and stuff before the Rico case. You know, it's not really something like that I used to brag about, but it's like I'm not someone who's just here for, you know, the attention and the views and stuff. It's like this is really what I like to do. I'm really
It's all
serious
real
about this.
creation.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's like the stuff that I seen, there's no way how you could just go back to being a regular person or just quit. You know, like I'm making history here, and I'm also a part of like music industry history. We've literally seen one of the hardest music groups fall, you know, but it's all a lesson for people to learn that it's more than just the streets. You know, it's more than this survival mode. You get what I'm saying? It's only a stigma because everybody knows we can do everything. But it's like if you have a false reputation or false stigma, it's easy for people to bring that up and use against you. That's what, you know, sadly what we're going through now. But we're starting to get our flowers now, you know, so because everyone wants to see that authenticity, people, you know, willing to be them. You don't have to be in the streets to be cool, you know. As long as you hear what your friends, like how people are doing out here, they just chilling. No matter, I mean, what they're doing isn't my business, but you know, they out here chilling.
Real.
You know?
Catching a vibe.
Yeah, they're just being their authentic selves. That's what gets you there.
You spoke a whole lot of true shit about authenticity, I'm gonna be honest. And kind of with that, and you mentioned a lot of other artists within that. So my next question for you was, if you could work with another artist, like if you could do a feature with any artist, past or present, who would it be? And why?
I would say it's a few, but one person I would say is probably X. Yeah.
Put him on a t-shirt,
Yeah, I was
unfortunately.
like
That's so tough, but that's real though.
I didn't expect you to ask that question though, but growing up, it was like when I first heard about him, because it's a few people that I actually put on and listen to. Well, not like put on, but let me change that. I put a lot of my friends onto artists that were blowing up. Like X was one of them, and Kodak from that were from different people from Florida and the South and stuff. But
2016 SoundCloud era, 2015 SoundCloud era.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing was, it was like a lot of these artists that had passed away were like around my age, but it was like when I caught on to them, like it was like we understood each other. I'm not, X was like one of the first people that I actually resonated with, as in like the spiritual side and just having diverse interests, you know? And so, um, yeah, that's the type of sound or that type of nostalgic feeling that I want to have was that, like that 20 like continuing off from like that 2016 2017, because I feel like it's I believe it's like some type of it was a delay that got in front of that when you started letting in like industry plants and a lot of people who are ruining the music game, because it's like now it's just image. And so now with people's attention spans, music ain't really, it's not really the same anymore. It's easily overstimulating. Like you got to compete more, you got to think more. But I think with everything changing, it's going to revert back to that era. But I mean, not exactly like that, but it's going to continue from where it left off, prior to everything happening over the pandemic and everything. But yeah, X is definitely someone who I would make a song with. At the state fair, I performed. That was my song with Gunna. I had him on that song. It's an unreleased version of Sigil 7. And so did one with him. I want to do a song with Trippie Redd. I'm that's something that I'm looking forward to doing. Man, another person I would say Draco the Ruler. He could rap on anything.
Rest in peace, bro.
Yeah.
All fire, bro.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
fire choices, bro.
Who else? Can't think off the top of my head right now. Marvin Gaye. Like I could see myself putting together, a setting, a setting, or because I'm looking into like beats and stuff too. But yeah, just because I'm looking into playing instruments and stuff. So even if I'm not even on like singing or saying anything, I want to contribute in some type of way. Because I'm also good at putting songs and stuff together. I did help some people put songs together.
And I feel like you definitely just gave everybody like a really conscious perspective into the type of person you are. But following your performances at the state fair, following your performance opening for O3 Greedo, your fans, people need to know, what do you have planned coming soon in your future? What's coming up next for PK?
More so opening people's ears to other stuff outside of, you know, I mean, the West Coast sound is cool, but it's like it's more to us than that. Not everyone is. That's not everyone's cup of tea per se. So it's like even if it's not like even if they say, "Oh, I'm not into this kind of music," there's more sound. So like I'm gonna start working with more alternative artists, like help bring that, help push that sound out. Because honestly, I'm like, if I think about it, I'm really like one of the pioneers that's actually from here. But it's like the hype and everything is coming, but it's all of us together now. Like everyone is coming together.
There's no individuality to it. It's like group.
Yeah, because even when it comes to like my shows and stuff, I'll invite other people to show out. Like even with you, but I mean with my other shows, I invited Quincy. He's a party host.
You You just had Smokey with you at
Yeah,
O3 Greedo. You had
right,
Germ DZ up there with you. Good
right,
people too. Shout out
right,
them.
right. Gritty Lex, like she's one of the pioneers and leaders of alternative music out here too. But it's like I said, it was more so like the sabotage of that alternative music wave through, that led to, it's like, yeah, not to feel entitled, but it was just more so the recognition um, of alternative artists out here getting the exposure. Like instead of just thinking, oh, everybody got to sound like EBK J-Bo and everything. Like that's not the case. So with everything changing and people opening their mind, because especially when it comes to alternative music, you got to have an ear. So once you have that ear, then it's like, oh, okay, now I understand all these other artists. Like, damn. But the good thing is that we already have good music to sit on. So when they look, you don't have to look at the current project. Already got shit like that. So yeah. So more shows, more collaborations, more content, more interviews, just in general. You know. Um, and it's honestly perfect timing because I'm more comfortable with my sound now. I found my area of sound. So um, I do like the fact that people say, "Oh, I don't know how to rap on," or I don't know how to hop on this beat. It's like I know I'm doing my own thing. While I'm figuring everything out. So yeah, more people um, learn more about me and the stuff that I do, and I wanted to help other people too and open their horizons and stuff. Yeah.
Type shit, bro. And that's gonna be dope to see because I feel like that's the type of person you are. You were super selfless with me at O3 Greedo. Like I want to take the opportunity here to say thank you. I met you at the California State Fair when you opened for Gritty Legs, but then from there you reached out and you're like, "Yo, I have this super dope opportunity. I'm opening for O3 Greedo. Like if you could get some footage." And I was like, "Bro, that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity, bro. I'm not gonna say no to some shit like that." So I think especially hearing more about like the conscious thought you have behind your music and like the experiences that you've had, it really shows and reflects in the type of person you are for other people within this community.
Yeah,
So
most def. And one thing about me is everyone plays their role. Like I said before, like if there was no footage and it was just word of mouth, unless you were going viral to where everyone pulled their phone out and posted like, oh shit, then no one would know that it was there. But it's like, regardless, we're all people. So it's we can all build off of each other. It's enough for all of us to be real, especially if you're in a pocket where no one can really compare. You get what I'm saying? So, you get what you give. So, I don't have anything against anybody. I'm not looking over my shoulder. So, why not help people out? That's what I wanted. So, I kind of lost my mind doing shit for so long, but it's like when everything came back in full circle, it was all like, okay, I can get out of that survival mode of just relying on myself.
and then just to round out the interview, we always give people the opportunity to plug it. Any YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, where can the people find you?
Yeah, you could follow me on Instagram at PK1804. Um, I have a link tree in there to all the platforms if you just want to use that to find everything else. You can find me on YouTube at P.K Nagasaki. Um, you can find me on Threads too, same as my IG. Damn, Threads. That's like the Twitter and
I
Instagram.
won't do it.
Yeah,
I
really?
won't fucking do it. No, because some just what you're talking about is like the brainless thought. Like I feel like a bunch of people are like just putting emojis in it. I'm like, dude, like, I don't know, something conscious.
Yeah, you'll find your niche in there. I found a lot of cool shit on
Okay, that's what's
Threads.
up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then like Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud too.
Yep, all PK Nagasaki. Like most people have Instagram, so I'll mainly give them my Instagram and the link tree will be there. So yeah, I have a website. You can find my website on Google at dragonclan.com, dragon and then clan KLAN.com. Posting more stuff on there. But yeah, you could Google me, you could do all that. You could just Google the name, it'll take you to all the platforms. Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. And we want to say congratulations on like all your recent like successes, all your recent accolades, everywhere you've been throughout your journey, and we're super excited to see where it all rounds out in the future, man.
Yeah, and I'm excited to tag you along with, you know, those things too.
Hell yeah, bro. We're gonna be there, bro. We're
Right.
gonna be there. And thank you all for watching another interview. Be sure to check the comment section below for all of PK's links, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all those good things.
All that.
Yes, sir. And then be sure to stay tuned for another interview coming soon. But for now, Buttadawgz out. Peace. That was fire, bro.
Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe Buttadawgz on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.